All right, Second Chronicles 22, let's call this one How Not to Get Ahead by Mindlessly Following, because a king by the name of Ahaziah is going to take over from his father, Jehoram, and he is going to get into a pattern of mindlessly following his family's instructions as, once again, the kings of Judah have come under the influence of the kings of Israel, and he is going to mindlessly follow in the ways of the kings of Israel through the habits of the household of Ahab by mindlessly following the counsel of his mother, Athaliah, who is actually a daughter, seemingly, of Ahab and Jezebel. And so in doing that, he is eventually going to mindlessly partner with the king of Israel in going into battle against the king of Syria, Hazael, and in mindlessly following Jehoram, the king of Israel, not to be confused with Ahaziah's father, Jehoram. Side note, the relationship between the kings of Judah and Israel having become so close that they're now starting to name their kids after one another, creating some confusion for keeping track of who's who. But Ahaziah is going to go to war with Jehoram, the king of Israel, who is now mindlessly seeking revenge against Hazael, who was simply executing God's judgment against Ahab's household. And it reminded me, sometimes we can debate whether or not the criminal justice system produces just outcomes, but for a moment, assume that a court has rendered a just verdict of death against someone who has committed a murder. What they are doing here in this period of Israel and Judah's history is akin to trying to get even with the executioner for executing a just order to execute someone who has murdered in cold blood. And in that modern day example, it reminded me of something else one of my favorite Jesus rappers sometimes says, and that's, if you're aiming at the wrong thing, even if you hit your target, you still lose, because even if you get rid of the executioner, the only thing that you have done is earned yourself the same condemnation from the criminal justice system. And that's exactly what's going to happen here to the kings of Israel and Judah. But they are not going to get Hazael. As a matter of fact, they're going to lose to Hazael in battle. And what God has promised is that anybody Hazael is not able to get rid of from Ahab's household, Jehu, the new king of Israel, is actually going to be assigned to take care of. And that's exactly what he is going to do, as Jehu comes through at a time when Jehoram is trying to heal from his wounds in the war against Hazael. And Jehu is not only going to get Jehoram, he's going to get a 2-for-1. And he is going to also hunt down Ahaziah as he has come to visit his buddy Jehoram. The tragedy being this: the judgment was only against Ahab's household, not against the kings of Judah. And so while God is getting rid of Ahab's line, Ahaziah is taking part in a punishment that is not his own, understanding that God could have gotten him anywhere. But the chapter is specifically going to say that God allowed his partnership with the kings of Israel to lead directly to his downfall. God leading him to a condemnation not his own through his habit of blindly following the people around him.